forge a society that is colorblind and merit-based. We will forge a society that is colorblind and merit-based.
Hi, Mario, and hi, Surya. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Wonderful, wonderful. So, what questions do we have today?
Absolutely. So our first question is, how can I present confidential employer evidence in my EB1A petition when company artifacts cannot be shared outside internal systems?
A very simple question, but a very important one, actually, because I think most of the time people who do EB1A are self petitioners and they have to establish their critical roles. And one of the biggest challenges that people feel is that how do they give important information which may be private to the company? How do they show that? Now, we have dealt with this situation before. First of all, people in the program, they are working with top organizations. There are some confidential documents. And I mean, as far as possible, people should know that, before we even give the answer, that the documents are not public. They are going to a regulator. There are two kinds of confidential information. One is something that is, which goes to the regulator in one way or the other. For example, somebody is doing a drug trial, for example, the regulator would know about that, but nobody else would know. I mean, as such, it might be public, but not kind of well be aware of. And second is something that is absolutely secret or confidential. Like I'm working with Coke and I created a Coke formula, and somebody wants to say that this is a Coke formula you have created, and you want to show normally the artifact of formula or a patent or anything that is there. Now, in this particular case, you don't have to show the artifact for the purpose of EB1A. Let's understand that actually here. Okay. The key part here is that first is you can redact it. Second is there could be a letter from employer which could explain the confidentiality. Third is you can give a technical summary of the instead of artifact, or some expert from the company can give. For example, just to give you an illustration, that you are working with 5 clients, you cannot name the clients, and they got some benefit out of you. So you can say that, Mr. Mario was working with us. He developed the formula that used a combination of A, B, C, D, E, and that resulted in X, Y, Z, and that resulted in, something alpha, beta, gamma, and that gave us a company of so much success. I think that something akin to that would be good enough, actually. So you have to give a technical summary. The value of that could be by independent expert letter, that yes, somebody from an industry association or something, or third party evidence would do it. And also you should give a sort of a declaration that you actually did that work. And then what happens is this has made it into a collaboration chain, actually. So you have a redacted document, you have an employer letter, you have an expert analyzing it, you have a technical summary, and you have external impact evidence also, actually. Now, please remember, nowadays, USCIS has been very, very sensitive and particular on the fact that your performance or your impact of your work has to be visible outside your organization. That is going to be very, very important. Now, it's a very thin line that what does that mean? Your performance has to be displayed or demonstrated an outside impact. Normally, we all work for the company pays a salary, and does that even mean actually here? It's not that you have to create a patent and that patent somebody has licensed. No, it is not necessary from that perspective. Impact would basically mean that because of your effort, how has the company been, not only the company got benefited, but even the people got benefited. Now, for example, Mario, you are analyzing profiles for EB1A achievers who are joining the program. So your fundamental job is that do you analyze the profile of the people who are joining in, and you vet them, whether qualify them, whether they are even fit for the program. You interview them first, you check them. Syria does the same thing. Now, how you do things is good enough, and you chose the right people, and out of that, 80% became EB1 achievers. That would be outside impact also, actually. It's not, or the same thing can be presented that you got identified 20 people and company made a Y revenue out of it. Now, the same thing can be presented in a different way. Does that make sense? Now, that is the way you should look at it, that how your work. So it is a matter of storytelling and narrative, actually, here, which is the most important thing. Okay? So it is not necessary that you have to strive for the data which is there. Nobody's asking you for that artifact. Nobody's asking you for that patent. Evidence does not mean this thing. The facts have to be stated with truth. Remember, there are three things. One is the whole evidence what you are giving should be credible, authentic, and probative. Does it mean something? So if you do that, I think that is the reason why you can, in spite of the fact that you may not be able to share a confidential information, okay, yet you can actually apply for EB1A successfully and even go through the criteria. Okay, sometimes you're working for government organizations. You cannot even name them, actually. It's absolutely fine. No worries about that. Okay? So that's how it is. So what is okay, let's move to the next question.
Yeah, absolutely. So our next question is from an anonymous aspirant, and they ask, I reviewed conference papers for IEEE and served as a judge in a couple of hackathons. They weren't global events, but they were respected in my niche. Is that enough to satisfy the judging criterion, or does it need to be more high profile?
Well, you see, remember one thing, it's not about profile, it's also about the intensity of that, and whom did you judge? For what purpose? What was the method that was used? And judging is, if I may take liberty to say, is one of the simple, I don't want to say easy, but simple to achieve. But the challenge with judging would be that can you take judging and intensify it to such an extent that one can fulfill the final merit determination in that. It is one of the toughest. I mean, normally people typically, I have seen judging like this, papers, hackathons, even interviewing people within their own organizations not as a part of job, but you are being invited because you are an expert. Like this, I've seen people doing 30, 40, 50 initiatives normally. But now we had one person in the program. For 2 years, he was like kind of continuously doing work, actually hard. He had done practically 800 judging opportunities. I mean, normally we do say that quantity is not important at all. In judging, I may add a little bit that quantity just show that you are evaluating okay, there is also equally important that you are doing it for your peers or somebody you are cultivating a new breed of professionals of a highest order. It cannot be at a school, college level, something like this. So when you say high profile, I mean, it doesn't mean that you need to be on a Nobel committee or some kind of a big award committee. No, it's not that actually, because everybody need not be there. Hardly few percentage people are there. But yes, I mean, I think it's a good start, I would say. I don't even know, it's not about global event or something. Event is not a global. How you do this becomes good, well known actually. Who are the people? Where do they belong? And what is the impact that you did because of that is important actually. Event may not be global. Even, I mean, because, I mean, just hypothetically, we had in a school, actually, somebody broke a national record. I mean, I'm just trying to tell you, in athletics, of course. But it was not an international race or a national race. But it doesn't matter where you are. But what you perform is important, actually. Okay? Now, this is something which is very important. Now, for example, when you talk about, I mean, it's just coming at the top of my mind, actually. I may like to give a little deeper thinking into it. But just to give you an illustration, what EB1A is all about, it's more about that. Now, obviously, if you win an award at a local competition, it is not supposed to be a very good, because it should be national or international. Okay? But let us say there is somebody who is, I'm giving an athletics example. Somebody does a 100-meter race, even at a county or a district or even state level championship. And he happens to break a national record or even a world record, which is very, very rare, but it happens at a national level. Now, can you consider that as a award for EB1A? It is a bit tricky, but answer is yes. I would, if I have some student like this, I'll be more than happy to kind of argue with USCIS through our attorneys and team of attorneys, saying that look, this person, even though it was a district level competition or a state level competition, this gentleman has broken a national record, and that national record qualifies him for being truly extraordinary. The competition itself may not have been at that level, but it is definitely so. It all depends on your performance and impact that you have created. So just remember, but yes, we will also need a letter from the person who kind of measured the time at that particular moment of time, who was present there, audience who was present there, photographs of his running. All these things will be an extra, and this can probably go these things like this, which are more, more what you can say, unconventional ways, would go in a comparable evidence possibly. We'll have to check with a good lawyer to kind of give us an idea on this, but yes, this would be the way. But yes, I think it's a good start for your IEEE, and we need to build up more on that. Okay, so let's take the next question, please.
Of course, another aspirant asked, I've been looking into the Next League program and I'm curious, is it more strategy focused or execution focused? Do you just guide on positioning or do you also help build the actual evidence step by step?
Beautiful question. It is both actually. So we have this done process, which is called, which we have patented also, which is called done process, which is called define, organize, nurture, and execute. So what happens in a defined phase? It's more of a strategy. I like the way somebody has, and I would love to kind of talk about the same way, that the first two parts are more from a strategy perspective and the last two parts are more from an execution perspective. I think it's a brilliant understanding which I can have it today actually, and I'm happy to learn this from this question. That yes, the first part is definitely a strategy. So many people associate expertise. We have seen petitions with somebody saying I'm project manager, data engineer, project data scientist. No, that is not the right way to do it. The right way to do that is more from a perspective of giving a right nomenclature and the right way to do it. For example, we had somebody from one of the leading, I think, food delivery apps actually, and that gentleman used to find out, a software engineer who used to find the location and the logistics part of it actually. But when we prepared a petition for him or expertise for him, we defined it as geospatial software engineering. So there is a name involved into that. Is the right way. Then we have to see which criterias are good and what criterias will resonate with you. You don't have to do everything, and you don't have to fit into criteria. The criteria have to fit into your profile, but still we have to present it from the perspective of criteria. So these two become more from a strategy perspective. And in the Next League program, then we get to nurture, rather than you just doing things randomly. If you need memberships, we definitely help you. If you need any other kind of a documentation or in terms of memberships, we definitely have a database that can help you. So we have all the things which are there, and then we help you to let things be overall part of the narrative and action plan which has been prepared after defining your expertise and organizing the criteria. And the last step is again the execution part of it truly, and not the strategy. Is okay, how to prepare reference letters, how to do it, and we try to evaluate that also for you. We give you a structure and then you are supposed to prepare it. So we won't prepare it for you. Okay, if you take legal services, yes, our lawyers might be able to help you out, but yes, otherwise you have to prepare it yourself as far as the coaching is concerned. There are some people who would have taken all the services, including the legal services as well as written services. Then it is a different ballgame altogether. Okay, now this is the whole thing, but I think wonderful. And if somebody wants to join the program and wants to know more about it, please, you can book a free discovery session with us. Mario and Celia or I will be we'll be happy to help, and we have the link given below in the comments. So please do that. So let's move to the next question.
Yeah, absolutely. So our next question, I feel kind of can piggyback off of our featured question today, but they ask, I'm in tech and most of my work is internal to my company. Does the Next League program help translate technical impact into something that the USCIS officers can understand? They ask,
Absolutely.
that part, honestly, it feels overwhelming.
No. I think it's a very good question, and I think we definitely can do that. We have seen people from every discipline, and the person who is reading your, and that's what we try to say, that your expertise has to be defined in a very simple terms, as if a 14-year-old can understand. So your entire job gets translated into that. Actually, I mean, there is a very famous quote by Einstein also, actually, that if you cannot explain something in a simple words to a still child, you don't know the subject, something like this. Remember one thing, one of the qualities of a good expert is not that he can talk well, he can also simplify things for people to understand. That's the best way to do that. Okay, and let's take the last question now.
Yeah, sure. So the last question is, I am new to EB1A and I have been hearing many mixed things when it comes to working on my profile. How many criteria should I aim to exceed, not just meet?
I think it is a very long question, very short query, but a long response and long question. Actually, it is not about, first of all, when you say you are hearing from whom. I mean, I've seen people hearing from their neighbor's dog trainer's uncle. I mean, it doesn't make any sense. I mean, if you are talking to either a qualified attorney, very good, qualified coach, very good, an EB1 achiever from that particular field, which is similar to you. Even when it comes to EB1 achievers and talking to them, you should be talking to them only if they belong to your field, possibly. Every EB1 achiever is not qualified to become a coach. Let's be clear about it also here. Somebody might be in your field, so you can get some tips and tools, basically. Uh, about deep understanding about EB1A is the concept of jurisprudence all about. There are three dimensions of success for your EB1A. The first is about you have to be an expert. If you are not an expert, become an expert. Wait, learn. I tell people to open up their classroom books, whatever they left behind. If it is a new subject, then you have to do it. If it is an intersection of new, all based on new subject, then you have to still do that. Second is about understanding EB1A jurisprudence. Then what are the criteria? Here you understand the point. There are some people who have got 3 criteria and also approved. There are people we have seen people getting 8 criteria approved and still getting rejected. Then what kind of letters are there to support that? So there is a proper mechanism for you to build upon this, rather than doing things in a very ad hoc or unstructured manner. So let's be clear about it. So it's not about how many criteria, and you are just trying to fit into the criteria, not the trying to fit the criteria into your profile. So there's a lot to learn, lot to follow, and in today's time, I think it has become more. It's always advisable to be more granular. Actually, present yourself in the best possible way, and we are there to support people who are willing to put in hard effort or something. It is not an armchair, concept or a program for EB1A. I always tell people that EB1A is like talking to President Trump and saying that, look, I'm Mario, I'm Syria, I'm Ranjeet, and this is my expertise. This is what I can do for the country, and this is what country will benefit out of me, and what I intend to do. If you are able to narrate the story out of whether 3 criteria or 4 criteria or 5, minimum is 3, and with an evidence standard which is required, I think you are done actually. Then you should not have any problem. So wonderful, guys. So that's all for the day. If you have some more questions, please send it to us. If you want to join the program, please, in either case, please reach out to Mario, Syria. If you want to join the session, we'll be more than happy for you also. Okay. Wish you all the best and have a wonderful day ahead. Thank you for joining us today. If you have any further questions or need personalized guidance, please reach out to us. We are here to help you every step of the way in your journey towards achieving your American dream. Let's connect and make it happen together.